Hello everyone, I am Lakesh Biala, and for the cyber forensic tool presentation, I am going to demonstrate the tool named Autopsy. Autopsy is a digital forensic platform and graphical interface system. It is highly used by the law enforcement and forensic examiners to investigate a particular suspicious computer. Apart from the high-level forensics, we as a common people can also use it to recover our files. Okay, before getting into the tool, we would first see how to download it. First, go to the autopsy.com.download to download the Autopsy installer for Windows 62, 64-byte and 32-byte available. Also for same as Linux, we have to fill up this form and download the installer and then install the Autopsy itself. Along with it, this is the documentation that they provide at sleuthkit.org. It is a very well written document which gives information about each module from installation to creating a case and detailed information about each module that they have. So this is the documentation that we provide. So we begin an investigation. So here I'm going to demonstrate as an emulation to an real investigation. Uh, we we would do it from the investigator point of view to get to understand the tool better. So the first step of the investigation is to create a case. So here I'm creating a new case. Okay. So first we have to give a name to a case. We can't just randomly give any name like case 1. Yeah, that's okay, but it's not better for the future use. There is a in real life that they follow a certain format. For I will show you one format here. Say that there are different types of crime like money fraudulent or some hacking. Say the code for say the code for the some fraud would be 01. So we would do that. The location where it took place could be uh, say 02 for certain any X place, and then the investigator which is examining. So maybe if I am the investigator, I would say 16 is my ID, and we would provide a date on which investigation is taking place. Say so. Okay. So here I'm specifying a certain format. This basically helps in the future when you want to reference to the previous format. Just by providing certain keyword like the date or the location where it takes place, it's very easy for the investigator to find the certain case. So yeah, so that was the naming. This is basically we create a directory to store all the information regarding these cases. So here I have made a folder CF cases in which all the information about this case would be stored. This is the same folder, so we do next. Here I would give a case number, say 001. Here are my details. Give any detail you want to. Okay, so I hit finish. So here a case is being created. Okay. So here the case is being created. Now we want to add the source on which we want to run the investigation on. So here we can use a local disk or logical files, uh, uh, or maybe an image allocated space image file. We are using disk image. So we will go next with that. Okay. So okay, now they have to they have the image. I'm choosing the image of the disk. Um, we can get. So here is the image of a certain disk that are downloaded from internet. You can download too. And for the time zone, we better go with the standard GMT. So no, because we don't know from where the image is from, so we would be safe to select the plus 0 GMT. So that was image we added. So now here it's asking to add the modules. So modules are basically what modules would you need to investigate upon. So yeah, certain modules I will just brief quickly. So the first module is recent activity. Basically, if you want the basically it mentions the all the recent activity that happened upon the disk. Hash lookup. Hash lookup is basically you can add the hash databases. Here I have not done any basis, but you can add. So hash. So that's the hash lookup. File type identification has it is self-explanatory. The file type, what type of the file it is by using the extension. Here the extension mismatch detector basically sometimes it happens that the to hide the information, what they do is they store a certain type of file in certain type of different type of what we say in extension. If I can give them an example, so okay, here I have a PNG file. Yeah, so it was PNG file as you saw in the name. uh, I can open it that, but uh, but uh, but now if I change the extension of it, say from p 1.png to say text. Yes, so now the image is secure, the image is as it is, but now if we change extension, it shows some, it shows like it is corrupted or something. So that's when so that is a way to hide PNG file. So this won't be detected by if any image or parser is there, so this won't be detected. That's one thing. Okay, so that for example. Embedded file extractor is basically say someone stores an image in docs file, so we can extract that. uh, Picture analyzer is name is a self-explanatory. We can analyze pictures. Keyword search is basically if we apply certain keywords uh, of say phone numbers, say email addresses, URLs. So that would give the results with respect to the keyword that we are applying. Email parser is to analyze the emails. Encryption detection. Uh, Encryption detection basically if certain files are encrypted in a certain way, so that would tell us. Interesting file identifier is basically if is basically the what files we think are interesting. We can set up some set up some filters with this with the given global settings. So with the global settings we provide, we can configure in what results we want to receive with that. Okay, so this all these modules are not very much used, so I think we could skip them. Here I have deselected iOS because because we are not working on iOS, and also we don't need an Android analyzer, so I will untick that. Remaining modules are pretty helpful, so we will go with that those. So here I can so here I next. So this process can take a very long time, so I will just skip to the part where the disk is completely parsed. Okay, so this is how the autopsy window looks when the insertion of the disk image is done. So yeah, this is our disk image. Yeah, as you can see, the disk image is with a certain extension .e01. E01 format is basically is the encase image file format. It is also known as expert witness format. It is used for creating the images of the hard disk, the CDs, and USB drives. So that is E01 format. Yeah, the details we can see it is image as I mentioned. The size of the image which I used was pretty big. It was 25 gigs, around 25 gigs basically. The sectors information is there. The time zone as we said. and this is the device information, the basically the device from the which the image was obtained. So that's the information right off the bat. Yeah. So this is basically the raw data format, raw data of the disk. Hmm. So in the first column we can, this is basically the absolute address of the data. This is all the data. This data here, the raw data is basically in the form of hexadecimal format, and yeah, this column and this column, and this row basically the data is the raw data is present in the ASCII values. So that's why we can understand certain few characters because of the ASCII. Yeah. This was the absolute address of the data on the disk itself. So that's the first impression of the disk which we use, which means now let's look out the features that Topsy provides us. The view one. Okay. So here basically we can view all the files that are on this that are on the disk image. Basically the images, it's distinguishes images, videos, audios, archives, and databases. My image is pretty large. Also, I couldn't pass the entire image. I just ran up to around 20%. So that's why the entire image is not there. But there are certain portion of the images there. So, I think we can work. We can we can show the demonstration completely on that. It's enough for that. So these are the images that are on the disk. It contains information about modified time, change time, the created time where the disk was created, where the image was created, the location where it's stored. One clue we can here see is that the image location is image dot nps zero, which is the name of the image which we use. Basically, you can see this part as the C drive, and following that, it says program files. So the clue for us is program files are basically only present in the Windows. So the image is of Windows. We can conclude that from here. Uh, to see the images, yeah, these are the images that it's formed here by using the thumbnail view. Yeah, similarly, videos are there, audios are there, archives, databases. These are all the databases that are present on the disk. Similarly, same information with each file itself. Uh, these are documents, HTML documents. Okay, so category of the module is clear, I guess. Okay, so second we move to deleted files. One thing to remember is that all is probably pulled by the SlodeKit, because in the backend of the autopsy it's running SlodeKit libraries. So yeah. I think it's gonna take some time to load. Okay, so these are the files that were deleted. Here we might not be able to extract all these files, because it may happen that the data might not be there, just the entry is present, and also it may happen the vice versa itself, that the data is there but the entry is not there. So we can't pull all the images. I think most we could. Let's see in the thumbnail if it's able to extract some few images or not. Yeah, I think we can extract some few images as it's showing here. This is some image. Okay, let's watch some others. It's taking time to load the images. This is some image. Okay, this image looks interesting. It's kind of some map of some place. Okay, yeah. Even the images hexadecimal raw data we can see here. The text, I don't know what text is, but the metadata. Metadata can be useful of a certain image. Uh, it tells so much about the size about the image, when what is created. So this was created when the image was created. The MD5 is not calculated. It's fine. So this was the metadata of the image itself. Okay, so this was the deleted files that we can use. This module we can use in a daily life also. If certain files are deleted from a system, we can use the files to recover. If the entry is there, we could extract it very easily. This portion, I think, yeah, this basically categorizes all the files with respect to the sizes. Not very interesting. Okay. Yeah, so the main interesting part starts from here. The extracted content. The entire disk was passed, and the different modules extracted data according to their functions. Yeah. So first is the EXIF metadata. As we discussed earlier, EXIF metadata basically the metadata associated with the image. That is a tag with EXIF metadata to the image. So if we, as I said, I didn't pass the entire image, so there are only few images that are here. .jpg images. So we can see all those images, metadata associated with it. This first image is quite interesting because it gives us the device model from which it was captured, the, the device, the make of the device. So what exactly the device was. This shows the size of the images, as I said before, the path itself. Okay, so so if we look into the metadata, the same the same information as we got for the images previously. So okay, but if we look into the result part, here comes the interesting part. If we kind of uh, if we say if we see the date created here is 2011 0113. So at this date the image was taken, but if you see the date created is different. It is 2011 0119, and here it was 13. So basically, this date signifies when the image was taken, and this date signifies that when the image was added to this system. So yeah. So with use of this date, we can say that if we open image, if we put say detective caps on, can we see the image? Okay, so this was the image. Uh, as we saw the date or where the event was taken, we can consider that these three people were together at that certain date, and the image was captured. So yeah, that was our detective point of view. So that's the EXIF metadata. Next is uh, encryption suspected. If the entire image is not loaded the data as I said mentioned, so there are not many records from which we can confer anything, so we would skip this better. Okay, so here we got 87 records, so we can see this. So here are the different mismatches which system tells us that are possible. If we see some, so this is so this is a list of images which adopts thinks that there could be a mismatch. Nothing can we can't say surely that there is, but it's kind of false positives. Here in the image of the disk, if we found certain zip file, we can extract them and we can download them first and then extract them. But we should never do that because that would compromise our workstation. Say if the zip file contains some virus, so when we extract those files in our system, that vulnerability can reach to our system, and it would put the whole workstation all entire workstation into trouble. So never extract certain file. That's why the experts always use a virtual machine, because even the virtual machine is affected, so that won't cause any major harm. But if the main PC, the main system is affected, so yeah, that could cause a huge loss. Okay, so next is web bookmarks. So here we can see in the web bookmarks the URL that they bookmark. Okay, we don't do that. Uh, from the title, basically recent tags, most viewed, the date on which the bookmarks was created, the program name. Program name basically the what kind of browser they use. Okay, so they use Firefox, Internet Explorer. I think majorly they use Firefox, so that can be that data source. Okay. I think bookmark can be if we study the pattern of the bookmarks, with the help of some social engineering we can get an idea of the taste of the user of that system. So here I'm mostly seeing bbc.co.uk. So this all seems like news, so we can maybe say the person who was using the system is interested in news, and he may be very well well updated with the current affairs, so that can be one assumption that can be made. So that is bookmarks. Next is web cookies. Cookies are very interesting itself because we know that they store the sessions, passwords, and some credentials. So if we get a hold of those information, so it would be extremely useful in the investigation itself. So here we see cookies.sqlite, source file, the local admin, the URLs from Google, Adobe, mm, Twitter is there. Okay, so this I can see semantic. Okay, so these are the cookies. I guess the name is of the user, but these usernames are not making any sense to me right now. Okay, we'll see. The domain, the websites, on which the cookies were built upon. So that's the information. Hex data as usual. The results, the metadata as usual of each entry. Web downloads. There's nothing much downloaded here. It's only Flash player. We can't say anything from this. So we would say move to the web history part. The places dot SQLite that's going to be from Firefox again. It would be located in the user directory. If we scroll down, index.dat. I think yeah, it's from the Internet Explorer. Okay, web history can be quite interesting to map what kind of person is that, to gain to map the activities that is doing. So we see here Mozilla, Firefox, Java.com. Okay, we search some few. mm, Adobe download, Adobe Reader download, Hotmail account. Okay, still we don't see any. Okay, so this thing I'll. Okay, so PGP is quite interesting. Yeah, PGP is basically encryption standard, I guess. We can search. Uh, yeah, PGP. I think it's a pretty good policy. If I'm correct, we can confirm. Yeah, pretty good policy itself. Yeah. So it's used in encryption. So yeah, so user did search something about encryption. We can track that. Yeah, this again, yeah, encryption. So this could be suspicious. We can say that now the user may have some idea about encryption, so the files access would be not that easy if we had applied some encryption on the files that we're looking. Yeah, uh, yeah, mostly the same kind of information. So that's our web history. So now if we look at email messages, the default. Yeah, so there is an outlook.pst. That means the Outlook account was passed when the image was passed in the by the tool. Mm, we see email from whom the email was there to email to. Uh, Email message ID. Let's click on some image. Uh, I think we are kind of getting the. Oh, where is the message? Yeah, it's from Hotmail team. Uh, Here I can see the message sent the most of the times was email to was test deal at the rate hotmail.com. So he can be suspect as well. We can make use of the keyword search. As I said, the most of the time the test.deal was coming up, so we can search that test.deal. Here I'm using the substring match, so let's run it. Let's see what's pop up. Okay, so here are the result of the keyword search. The keyword preview. Okay, so to and from, yeah, the almost all the mails from as the recipient was the test.deal, so all the are showing. Yeah, we can get such, we can filter such types of emails. If we look into certain mail, uh, this is kind of the header of the email. So we can see the information that's being that information being passed into the emails with the help of the email messages here. Yeah, so that's it. The autopsy tool itself.